Hello, we're back for the second to last match of the second half of day one of this Alliance tournament.
And this is looking like it's going to be one of my favorite matches because I really like the setups we have here. This is Circle of Two and Razor. And Razor, they recently lost all of their space, so maybe they're poor because they have a setup of almost entirely Tech 1 ships. They've got three Feroxes, two Brutixes, three Cyclones, a Rupture, and a Scimitar to try to keep them alive.
Meanwhile, CO2 is spending plenty of money on their setup. They've got 3 Macarials, a Guardian, a Blackbird, 3 Sabres, and 2 Daredevils.
The max came in at 0, and it's probably going to be a pretty quick one. No kiting here. People have been asking what kiting is. Kiting's very simple. Kiting is when you have a longer range ship, you try to, through either faster speed or propulsion, slowing down methods, keep the enemy team at bay while you drag them like a kite around the arena at range, and they can't shoot you back.
So we're going to see plenty of, tons of damage going onto that Macarial for Circle of Two. I'm hoping for his sake that he's shield tank, or armor tank, sorry, because he lost his shield extremely quickly. It looks like he is.
He's taking a pretty decent amount of armor damage. One of the Brutixes is out of shield and Razor alliances. Looks like Circle of Two is taking damage faster than Razor, though. This could go pretty quick.
This Razor setup has a ton of damage, but it's also very vulnerable. It doesn't have much in the way of tank. As you can see, that Brutix going down very quickly.
They do have that Scimitar, though, and he can mitigate some of the damage, even if there's not much of a tank. Looks like the first Brutix is about to go down using structure, yet CO2 has 2 ships taking heavy damage now.
I think the weakest part of this battlecruiser team is when you have to chase down the opponents, because these ships, except for the Cyclone, aren't all that fast. But that was solved by the fact that the Macarials for CO2 warped right in at 0.
Conveniently enough. And the Scimitar is being targeted by Circle 2. It's about to go down. Razor Alliance has already lost a ship. Circle 2 lost, I think,
a Saber.
A Saber real early.
And they're about to lose a Macarial as well. It's very interesting to see a Rupture. This is the first Tech 1 cruiser, I think, that we've seen so far in the tournament. Really, Ruptures and Thoraxes are the ones that you will see if you see any of them. They're down to 8 points now, and so maybe we'll see some more of them.
There haven't been too many. I think I may have seen a Celestis earlier, but not too many Tech 1 cruisers at all.
Well, there actually was a Blackbird for Circle of Two as well, which is actually what they lost. Sorry, the Saber wasn't what they lost.
So Circle 2 losing their first Mac. Razor's taking a couple of their Tech 1 ships down. Oh, they lost their Scimitar too.
Yeah.
Or Scimitar, as you might say, if you are awful with English and your name is Shadip.
And the Guardian for CO2 is dropping into structure now. He'll be dying any second now.
Guardian going down on Circle of Two, so now no more logistics left on the field, just pure damage.
Meanwhile, Circle of Two is focusing on one of the Feroxes, which of the ships that Razor has are going to be the heaviest tanked. But it's still going down quite quickly with all those Macarials on it.
Yeah, just damage everywhere. Everyone is on top of each other, not worrying about maneuvering, just standing there and punching each other in the face as hard as they can.
Yes, this is a very, very brawling fight. Everybody's still within a couple kilometers of the beacon, with the exception of, looks like, one of the Daredevils, who's, for some reason, moving away extremely quickly.
So what's left on the field, Circle of Two has 2 Macs, 3 Sabres, and a couple Daredevils. Razor has 2 Feroxes, 3 Cyclones, and a Rupture.
And it looks like the Circle of Two team is now switched to one of the Cyclones for Razor, and it's going down fast, but they're about to lose a Macarial as well that's in about 10% armor.
It seems like ships are dying more regularly on Razor, but when a Circle of Two ship goes down, it's a bigger deal because it's a big ship like a Macarial.
We are seeing the Macarial now tanking a lot better. It's taken a lot of time to go down because of all the damage ships being dead for Razor. I think at this point it's swinging pretty strongly towards CO2.
Razor's DPS is slowing up, but they still have a fair bit on the field. The Mac stopped taking damage, and Razor has switched to the smaller ships. The Sabres and Daredevils are all taking damage now.
And it's worth noting that, like Soundwave said before, the Circle of Two and Wild Boars teams are likely to be working together in this match, in this set of group matches, like they did in the prelims. So if Razor wants to move forward, they really need to win this fight.
That's a bit of metagaming that's going on now. Friendly teams, when they do run into each other on the match, if they're buddies, they'll make sure that each team gets a significant number of kills so they get enough points to advance to the next round.
Now, Razor made an excellent choice there in deciding to finish off the small ships, the Sabres and the Daredevils for Circle of Two. Their loss is going to hurt because now it'll be a bit easier for the Razor guys to hold range, get a bit of orbit on to maybe reduce the damage.
I think they probably would have wanted to do that earlier. Sabres and Daredevils, really small ships, easy to pop when you have good tracking like on these cruisers and battle cruisers that Razor has. But they do a remarkable amount of damage for such a small and vulnerable hull. Yeah. So taking them out early definitely can make a difference.
The second to last Macarial for CO2 is about to pop, and there it goes. Meanwhile, we've got a Cyclone for Razor in half armor. This is going to come down to one Macarial trying to face down 3 Tech 1 1 battle cruisers and a Tech 1 cruiser.
And the budget Razor Tech 1 team is, I think, going to run away with this one. The Material's taking significant damage. He's able to still hit back pretty hard. I think he's going to take the Cyclone out here, but 1 ship on 4, and I like the numbers here.
It looks like the Material tried to pull range there, which would have been the smart move, but he got webbed and scrambled pretty quickly.
And they are, once again, standing on top of each other, kicking each other in the nuts as hard as they can.
This has been an excellent fight so far. Lots and lots of explosions. We're about to see another one. It's a Cyclone for Razor dies. There it goes.
He hung on with just a sliver of structure, enough for 1 or 2 more volleys there, so he got his hits in before he went down. That last Macarial is now in about 2/3 armor, and he's going up against 2 Feroxes and the Rupture.
That Macarial is tanking fairly well. He's got a pretty solid passive armor tank going, but it looks like the Razor team's probably going to eat through him before they lose their ships. Although they do have a Ferox already in half shields. He's going to go down pretty fast.
Ferox is certainly taking damage, and the Macarial's his armor bleed is slowed down considerably. I'm kind of biting my nails here. I don't know if the Macarial can outlast his DPS enough to drop that second Ferox. Yeah, he might even be able to pull this out solo, but at the same time, if he's overheating his guns and everything right now, they could just burn out.
It's worth noting that I am not seeing a newt come from the Macarial. I think at this point, having a newt would have been very useful, because it may end up coming down to a hero Rupture versus a Macarial at the end, and that Rupture is orbiting, and I don't know how well the Macarial is going to be able to hit him.
Yeah, I don't know how the Macarials fit. He may have had a newt and burned it out, or he may be trying to conserve cap. I'm not really sure right now. 1 Ferox is in structure.
Oh, there goes the newt.
The Macarial is now at about 2/3 armor. And now the Ferox is dying. It's going to be 1 Ferox and a Rupture trying to finish off a Macarial that only has about 1/3 armor left.
We've got just under 4 minutes left in the match, and that's plenty of time for this thing to finish on its own.
It's still taking damage to the Macarial. It's very slowly, but he's hitting the Ferox pretty hard. Ferox's shield damage is accelerating.
Yep, that Ferox is now the primary for CO2. This is going to come right down to the wire. It looks like the Ferox is going to die before that Macarial does, and it will come down to a Rupture versus a very wounded Macarial for the final.
By primary, he meant the last guy on the field is shooting a Ferox. The Ferox is in about 1/3 shield. The armor damage from the Macarial slowed down, but he's still taking some. He's getting structure bleed through now. What else is going to look?
At this point, I'm sure that everybody is trying to use their overloading as effectively as possible. If that Ferox can do as much damage as possible before it dies, that could swing the match.
Macarial now is about 10% armor. Ferox has about 10% shield. Ferox and Rupture versus Macarial.
We're seeing damage drones from the remaining ships. It actually looks like a lot of the damage on that Ferox are coming from the Hammerhead 2s from the CO2 Macarial, because at this range, he may be having a bit of trouble hitting.
Yeah, never count out those drones. I mean, it's hard to really tell what's going on with them sometimes. You have these little X's flying all over the place, but they can be a significant percentage of the DPS of the team.
It'll be very interesting to see once the damage does get shifted to the Rupture, whether it's armor or shield tank. You can do a lot more damage with the shield tank, but with a 1600 plate, you can actually fit a pretty nasty armor tank on it.
And this Ferox is not going to make it. He's low structure, about to die. And the Macarial's in structure, too. That's all he's got left. But he's about to pop this Ferox. It's going to end up with a Rupture trying to finish off an in-structure
That
Macarial.
being said, the Macarial is picking up speed fast. He is no longer scrammed, and it looks like he's not webbed either, so he's up to 16 kilometers a second.
He's moved pretty quick, but they're right behind him, so he's not going to have much transversal, really. And
Yeah.
there goes the Ferox. A Macarial with about 2/3 structure versus a lone Rupture.
I think the distance that this Macarial is getting is going to be what wins him the match, if anything, because now he's pulled significantly more range. He is faster than that Rupture, so that'll keep the transversal down.
Yep,
We'll
he
see.
is going away. If he can stay alive, Circle of 2 will win just by the fact that they've got more points. But the Macarial's in about half structure. It is entirely possible for this Rupture
And
to
the
finish
Macarial has decided that he will have none of that sissy running away and is heading straight back towards the Rupture.
He has sacked up. The Rupture's taken a little bit of damage, but still has most of his shield left. The Macarial, less than half structure.
That may end up being a bad choice, but it is definitely ballsy.
It is ballsy, but, sometimes discretion is the better part of valor. Flames are flying out of the Macarial. He has about 1/4 of his structure left. The Rupture's not really taking any damage at all. I take that back. He's going to hit pretty hard, but still half his shield.
Yeah, he's got a pretty solid shield tank, it looks like, so it's going to take him a while to eat through that shield. And it looks like the Macarial is going to die first, although the Macarial is now once again pulling range.
Flames and smoke burning out of the Macarial. He's got like 10% structure. He's barely holding on.
That
Rupture is chasing him down.
That Macarial may get finished off by the Hobgoblin 2s from the Rupture.
Yeah, there's, I think, 4 or 5 of them just spinning around. Macarial is not taking much damage. Only 50 seconds left. Macarial at 15% or so structure. Rupture chasing as fast as he can.
This is an impressive hero Rupture, but if he can't catch up to that Macarial, then he's not going to be able to finish him off.
39 seconds to go. The drones are slowly chipping away at the last of that structure of the Macarial.
Oh, this is an amazing fight.
Yeah, this is going to be so close.
The Macarial is still pulling away. The Rupture is trying to catch up as best he can, but I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do.
24
so
seconds
close.
left. Macarial is in a cloud of smoke limping across the battlefield with the Rupture in pursuit. The Rupture's way far out of range. He's not being able to shoot it. It's just those drones. Can the drones do this last, 5%
Actually,
or
the
so?
drones are starting to die. It looks like the
Yeah.
Macarial has started shooting the drones, which may be the smart move, because if he can survive, then they'll win on points.
1, and Circle of 2 pulled it off. A Macarial 5% or so structure hanging on against that last Rupture for Razor. Very close one. Very exciting match.
That was an amazing match.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite of the day. And with that, let's see what our buddies over in the commentary studio have to say.